Hello, this is Lisa at Winter Sky Creations. It's a bit late, but we're going to try a video tonight anyhow, because today's just been one of those weird days that have gone on and didn't accomplish a whole lot. Apparently I accomplished something, it just didn't feel like it. But anyhow, I saw this way of stenciling twice this week, and I thought I would try it. The first time, I don't know if they named it anything. The second time it said reverse stenciling. So, what the idea is though, is normally when we stencil, we cover our surface, in this case a board, with paint, stain, whatever it is we want on the background. Then we put the stencil on and stencil it. In this case, we're going to stencil this first on this board with some paint. Today we're going to use some chalk paint because I think it will work. Okay, if I can open the jar. But this should dry fast enough to get it done, and we won't be here too long. It's a quick little one. So, like I said, when we stencil, we get a stencil brush. It's a flat top brush. Get the paint on it, but you see, I'm just dipping it in here because I have a small stencil. But you see how gloppy that is? You don't want to stencil that way, so you want to take it and offload some of it onto something. In this case, just this little palette board. So you want to get that worked into your bristles and not have it too sloppy, otherwise you will bleed under your stencil. And yeah, some people prefer to actually tape their stencils. I do sometimes, but this one's laying nice and flat, so we're going to try it the way it is. Hopefully I don't bleed under it or past where I want to be. So we're just using this really white chalk paint. This one is, yeah, I'll let you know the brand in a bit. Alrighty, it is by Folk Art, because I couldn't find the Waverly that everyone talks about the day I bought that one. Seems to be working fine though, so I can't complain. So I think I'm going to put 2 light layers on here just to make sure it goes decently. So we got 1 layer. I don't know if that's, actually I think that should be good. I'm going to check this just with a little bit more here. Since I have a really dark stain, I think I will do 2 layers of the paint. So we're going to do everyone's favorite thing, drying paint. So do that real quick, just to make sure I can put another layer on there without making too much of a mess. I just want another really light layer on there, and as I see in trying to do this quickly, I've put a little bit where I don't want it, but we'll take care of that. Like I said, this is one of those days that just went on and on. I was busy all day doing things, but it also did not feel like I was accomplishing anything. I'm sure I did, just didn't feel like it. So there, we'll take that off. That looks really clean. We'll set that aside somewhere where it won't get messed up, hopefully. Put the lid on this also so it doesn't mess up. And I'm going to see if I can dab that tiny bit off the edge here with just a little bit of water. On rag, literally on a rag this time. This might have been a bad choice. Didn't think about it making the wood wet. Oops. Yeah, as I said, this is one of those days. So we definitely want to dry that now, because that will make the stain that we're going to put on here go on a little bit wrong. Let's get this stuff picked back up. Knocking stuff over there. Yep. Doing well. Alright, that looks good. nice thing about the chalk paint is it does dry exceptionally fast. That is dry to touch. Now, I only have a very light gray stain, which would not get the effect I want here. And then I have this, it does have a name, Buckeye Brown. It's really dark, and it's a solid stain rather than one of the less opaque ones. We'll see how it goes. This is what I have on hand, so when you want to try and play, you use what you have on hand. This was a scrap board that my husband grabbed for me from somewhere. So this doesn't go on too strong. I'm going to put a little bit in a cup. I had a cup here a minute ago. There we go. I'm just going to get a random cup, and I'm just going to use the sponge applicator and scoop a blob of it into here. That is an official word. We'll get a little blob, blurb, whatever. And then I'm going to dip the same thing into a bit of water and drip into it. It's a water-based stain, so it can be thinned down with water, as I don't want to make it too opaque on here. If you have the normal, if you have normal transparent stains, that would work better. But this is what I have to work with, and this is what I wanted to do and experiment. As I get more products, I will try more things. But you go right over, it's like, wait a minute, you just stenciled that, now you're just putting stuff right over it. Yes, that's the point on this one. We do put this right over top of it. And it's looking pretty cool. I'm liking this really dark color. Don't be alarmed by that covering the stencil too much though, because I have a plan for that once it dries a little bit. Now, I'm going to go around the sides a little bit while that top soaks in and starts drying. Trying to do this without ending up touching the top. Right. Don't know how well I'll be successful with that, but figured I might as well try to do that while this top dries a little bit. Boy, I don't know about you. I know I've talked about the time change before, and it's been a week or so now, but it is still beating me up. And I don't even have a normal day type job or schedule. I have been trying to keep to a normal schedule like I was before, of getting up at the same time I did before the time change. But that, like I said, it's just beating me up this year. Yeah, it does every year, but it's a bit crazy. We definitely want to let this dry a little more before we do the next step. So, guess what the next step is besides that? That means I need to get the dryer out again. There we go, get that back. All right, we'll get the dryer out, get this dried up a little bit. I know this isn't gonna be that exciting, but hey, what can I say? Hello, Victoria, it's good to see someone out there. I know here it's a little bit late, but different people are in different time zones, so yay. Oh, there we go. I'll try to get this dried up a little. And since it is this late, my lighting is even worse than normal, but hey, as things go on, I'll get better lighting and better camera angles, what have you. It takes time. So, good, that's starting to get dry. We'll give it a little bit more. See how that is. Yeah, I'm a big proponent of, if you want to do something, try doing it. Don't wait until you think you have the right stuff to do it. I mean, you need some things, but obviously this isn't exactly the right time of day, but I wanted to do a live, so here I am. And this isn't the stain I would originally pick, but I want to try it, so do not let things limit you if you want to try things, because if you wait until everything's perfect, you probably won't get anything accomplished. Now that looks kind of cool the way it is, but I want that stencil to pop a little more, so I've got a sanding block. Hopefully it doesn't have too much other stuff on there. My clean ones are in the other room. I don't feel like going after it. So I'm just going to lightly sand across the top of this, which will also, it will make that board feel a little bit smoother, because putting a water base on there does raise the grain a little bit. So, going across here, it looks like we're almost getting white highlights around this stenciling. And you can go on there a little more, depending on how much you want it to pop. Try to sand with the grain as much as possible there. Whoopsie, there we go. And I think we're at a pretty good spot there. So let's try to touch. Those letters are starting to pop up really well. It's a very simple way to do something different. You could do that by staining and then stenciling on top, but then your letters would be definitely white. This way they look kind of like they've been there for a long time. And once this is dried overnight, tomorrow I can put a sealant on there, a matte sealant that will help it to just pop a little bit better. So, like I said, this was just a short video because I really want to keep up with my twice a week at minimum lives. And yes, I am very happy with this, and I'm glad I took a moment to do this tonight. Thank you very much. I am happy with this too, Victoria. So, like I said, this is very easy. You saw how fast that happened. The wood was prepared, but it didn't take much, just light sanding before I got on here to make sure it didn't have splinters. So, whoops, let's get this so you can see it better. I keep forgetting that. I am sorry. Someday I'll get this all straight. Ooh, hearts, thank you. So, I thank you very much for being here tonight, and typically I am on twice a week, so far at random times of day, usually Tuesday and one other day, so I thank you all for being here. And if you want to see more things, join me again at Winter Sky Creations on Facebook and on Instagram. So I hope you all have a good night and happy vernal equinox, first day of spring here. Good night.